Hello, welcome back to the Chelsea debate for a special video called Let's Talk Christian Pulisic. I'm Dom and Josh is with me as always. What we want to do basically here is just talk about Christian because there's a lot of discussion going around in the media and with fans about his overall position at Chelsea in terms of is he going to stay? Is he good enough? Does he fit into the plans of the manager? So I'll chuck it to you straight away, Josh. There's reports at the minute coming out linking him with Bayern, Man United, Liverpool. When you see these reports, what do you think?
Well, a little bit sort of not very happy. I like Pulisic. We did pay a lot of money for him. And when we have seen him on form, he's an incredible player. Last season he was brilliant, double figures for goals and assists. So, you'd take that sort of consistently, wouldn't you? So I want him to stay.
Yeah, I see the report, and I think it does mention as well. Obviously, when you get reports like that, you get conflicting things. I've seen reading some saying that he wants to stay and fight, which I imagine he does. He looks well liked in the dressing room, but I want him to stay. Firmly my beliefs on him. I think he's a brilliant player. We look at last season first of all, and particularly the back end. He was our go-to player, wasn't he? He was playing really well, and a lot of the success was on the left wing. Because we'll delve into his position, but last season, him as a left winger, playing brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he's brilliant. He was the danger man, wasn't he? As you said, particularly towards the back end. I thought he took a little bit of bedding in at the start, but it was sort of like once he found his feet, he just kept going and going and going. Some big performances he had for us, and he scored some big goals and. Yeah, no, I think, again, out on the left. And I think a bit of the reports come now because obviously there's so many attacking options that Chelsea have got. Ultimately, they're not all going to be content with potentially sitting on the bench, are they? So I think that's the root of it. But I really hope that the reports about him wanting to fight for his place are true.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see over the next few months. If we then fast forward to here and the new manager coming in, he is rotated. He's given a lot of players opportunities, but Christian started, I think, 3 games, maybe 3 or 4. He's not started a lot compared to some of the others. Why do you think that is? Because the manager actually already had him at Dortmund. He was worked with him before. What is that about? Why is he not starting? Does he not know his best position? Because we've seen him on the left, the right wing back. Is he just working out who he likes in the squad?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He came in, we weren't on great form. Pulisic also wasn't on great form when he came in. And it's a case of very quickly for him. You've got to work out his best 11, hasn't he? He introduced straight away a new system, which in fairness to him, he's been there 12 games now, unbeaten in them all. So you can't argue with the system, it's got results. You also can't argue with the rotation policy, because obviously, you've got the results. But I do think there is, Pulisic's still a young player. He was deadly on the left last year. But obviously, then we spent money on attacking options up front. So I think now he's trying to like piece the puzzle together almost. He seems to be a fan of Werner out on the left. Werner has started the majority of the games. And he has contributed. We've talked about that previously. So I think it's almost a case of where else can Pulisic play? And I think that's why he's been tried in so many different areas. But he's not been effective, and we don't want to bash him at all. So I think it's more a case of, again, as we've alluded to in other videos, Pulisic needs to be on the left, let him make that position his own, and Werner needs to move into the middle. And if that means then that the central striker gets rotated, so be it for me.
Yeah, I should mention, and I should have at the beginning, that we're recording this before Atletico Madrid. So for all we know, Pulisic has just put us into the Champions League quarterfinals. Hopefully he has. But it's interesting. I'm not sure if he'll start that game. I would say he won't. That would be my guess. Point you make there about you play him on the left. I will say, when all these players signed in the summer, a lot of fans building their team, bear in mind this was Frank at the start, had Werner through the middle, Ziyech on the right, Pulisic on the left, and Havertz in the 10. I know that's how I saw it anyway. Like in my dream, this is how it's going to piece together. Maybe Mount as a centre mid and Kante, something like that. Anyway, but the point is now under Tuchel, that sort of left winger position that we're talking about, we like him on the left, doesn't really exist. Yeah, he can be on the left, but it's more number 10. It's sort of, when you play that role, you're asked to come in field as well. So it's not a traditional, hit role. Whereas against Leeds United, he played as a wing back on the right. And that is more, as we've seen with Hudson-Odoi, getting to the byline, putting the balls in. So for me, it's how does he fit into the system? I don't know what you think about that.
No, I do think you're right, but then I also think that sort of brings it back to, the issue straight away is, like you said, we thought Havertz would be in there, and perhaps Mount as a more central midfielder. The issue is then Mason Mount's had, undoubtedly the best season of his career so far and been one of the best players in the league as more of an attacking midfielder. So I think, he's sort of giving you, not a problem because it's a good thing, but obviously in terms of bedding Ziyech, Havertz and the rest of them in, Mount's now sort of made the position his own, which is brilliant to see. But obviously then it just creates issues in other areas. I do think that. And for Pulisic, for me, like you just sort of said, he doesn't sort of get that left wing berth. But I do think then if you've got a more mobile central striker that's going to do a bit more of the sort of the hard yard, should we say, I do think that then gives Pulisic the ability and freedom to roam. So I do think he can then sort of go out to the left a little bit more. Playing as a wing back's great, and Hudson-Odoi's done really well at it so far. But not every player is going to adapt to that. And I do think there is an argument to be said, as time goes on. At the minute, we're all loving this system and loving the results that are coming. But, every great manager has had blips, haven't they? When, Jose Mourinho came in and sort of revolutionised the way the game was played. He then started to get sussed out. The same can be said of Klopp now. So I do think we'll have to have more than one system. Naturally at Chelsea, look now, we're at the business end of the season, we're still competing on three fronts. Rotation's always going to be there. So I do think there will inevitably be another system as sort of a plan B option. And that's when I do think Pulisic then, obviously you'd assume it would be a more traditional winger sort of system, and that's when obviously he'll come in. But in the current system, I do think if the central striker's more mobile, it gives him more freedom. Obviously, I don't know how you feel about that, but I think it's something we need to look at.
Yeah, he'll be working out how to get the best out of all the players. I would just say I want him to carry on knuckling down. And right now, he's not probably in the best 11. That's why I don't suspect he would have played against Atletico a couple of days ago. He just needs to keep working hard. And certain players, for instance, Kurt Zouma out of the team, didn't quite fit in. Then he had a game, played brilliant. You've just got to... You're going to have to, find your feet under the manager by taking your opportunity when you get it. It's not quite happened for him, but all these fans criticising and saying, "Oh, we should sell him." You're right. You're entitled to that opinion. Don't get me wrong. Maybe 58 million though we spent on him, like you say. I think he's got the ability to be a big player in the Premier League. I really do, because we've seen glimpses of it. I think he's 22. As well, so you've got to factor that into it. It's his second year in England, and also when you look at his time in Dortmund, there are occasions he came off the bench a lot, sort of an impact player, still trying to find his way as a young player. But do you agree with me that he's got the ability, and it's a case of would you stick with him for the rest of the season and going into next year? We need to do, or do you think we need to do everything to keep him and keep him happy?
Absolutely, we've got to keep him. He's 22, and one of the most exciting things for me about our squad going forward is, you've got Mason Mount, 22, Kai Havertz, I think it's 21, Pulisic, 22, Werner's still only 25. I think his birthday's the way to May of 2026. But regardless, other than Giroud, all our attacking options are young.
Yeah,
and I think that's exciting. So if we can get a system, it will take time, because not just are these players trying to work out how to fit into the system, they're also developing as players. But I think once it clicks, the potential that's in those players that we've just mentioned, you're talking about potentially the best attacking unit that the league's possibly ever seen. It really is so vast, the potential that's there. So I think we've got to stick with him. He's shown in glimpses already. If you were talking about an attacking option that was going to go, for me, I would sooner the likes of, we looked at potentially, I don't want him gone, but Ziyech, I think there's other candidates that would possibly be going before Pulisic for me.
Yeah, because he got the number 10 shirt as well.
Mm.
I just think in the case of a few months, sorry, you found that funny, didn't you?
No, I did. You love it, don't you? The number 10, Captain America.
Yeah, he is Captain America. That's the thing. You just can't. I don't think you can just a few months down the line just get rid of him. Sorry, you made me laugh there.
No, I do apologise. No, you can't. You've got to stick with him. He's 22. And I think crucially, he's shown the glimpses. So we know it's there. It's just about untapping it permanently.
Oh, you made me laugh there. I think we should wrap the video up in a minute then. But let's take away points from this. This is just how I view it, and then you can summarise to finish, and then we'll finish the video. But for me, we stick with him. We ignore the reports because, you get transfer things when a player's out of form and he's a high-profile player. You're going to get these sort of reports surfacing. He is getting chances. He just needs to be more clinical. He's not playing at the level that we know he can. So this isn't a case of, a massive love-in for Pulisic. He needs to do better as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Just for me, you give him the time and he will get better. That's how I see it. Do you want to summarise before we finish?
No, I think exactly. He will do better. He needs to take the chances. And I also think you look at the clubs he's being linked with, Man United, he's not going to walk into that team. Rashford sort of made the left his own. Liverpool, are they a team in decline? It's too early to say. You look at the age profile of their squad, they're not, they are looking at changes. They're going to have to. That's coming round. So I think he's at the best club that he can possibly be at for his development. I really do, coupled with the other talents in the squad. The manager he knows from, his Dortmund days. So no, I think he stays, he gets more chances and takes them.
It's a fair point. He's being linked with these big clubs, so it proves that he's not a bad player. Like if you're being linked with those sort of clubs, then there's a reason why. I think we'll wrap it up there. I hope that by the end of the season, I think we'll do videos sort of looking at each player, and hopefully he's had a really strong end to the season, just like he did last year, and sort of finishes well, because there's competitions. We're competing in the FA Cup, Champions League, hopefully, because it's Friday now, we'll put this out, but hopefully we're still in it. So a massive player for us. I just want to say big thanks for all the support. If you enjoy the video, like and subscribe. And also on Twitter, follow us at Chelsea_debate, and on Instagram, _Chelsea_debate. And until then, cheers guys. Thank you.
Cheers.